All right, guys, let's go ahead and break down the Mclaren 570S. So for those that are asking, like, well, why is it that I care? We have a huge focus in trying to make money with the cars that we drive. So why is it that someone like myself, that's an active, investor in cars, someone that's willing to trade in the Mclaren 570S to the dealership that I bought the Mclaren 720S. This is exactly why. I'm not trying to justify it or say that it's the best option. I'm just saying due to the position in which I was in and the overall opportunity cost, in my eyes, it made sense. So to answer and make the question super simple is, first of all, for those that are asking how much I bought the Mclaren 570S for, this was the carbon package, $252,000 MSRP. I bought it for $160,000. Okay, so this is what I bought the 570S for. All right, the thing about this is that, due to the prices dropping on the Mclaren 570S, they were selling for about $145 to about $160 to $170, depending on what part of the United States you are from, and depending on what package you had to offer. Mine had about 5,000 miles, a little bit over than that. I bought it with 2,900 miles. And the really cool thing about that was I had it for a little bit under a year. So I felt like I got to enjoy it, and then this opportunity came about for the Mclaren 720S. My goal was to break even on this car. Due to the cars that were being sold in this area, there were some that were being sold for less than $160,000. And that's sometimes hard to compete with because I do have a package that was valued more, but only to those that are willing to pay for it. And again, people are more likely just going to want to go with the cheapest option. So I had to understand that. Now, the 720S, so this is the 720S that I just bought, right? I bought this one for $299,000. I have the launch edition. MSRP with all the different upgrades that this one has is $345,000 is the sticker. So what I have to understand is that this one's $299,000, and I'm going to have to pay taxes because I'm buying it off a dealership on $299,000. So if we do, on average, I believe it was 8.4% for the $299,000. So I'm going to do that real quick, times 0.084. That's going to be about $25,000, 25.116 or in taxes. Okay? So the reason that I'm breaking this down is I had one of two options. I don't have to trade in my Mclaren 570S for the 720. I don't have to. But what I then have to do is, if I want to sell it, is I'm going to have to try to find a buyer for $160,000 for what I bought it for to break even. Or, right, and then pay taxes of $25,000 due to the price point of $299. Or I can trade in my Mclaren for the 570, and if I trade it in, that means that whatever my trading credit is gets subtracted by the overall purchase price, and I only have to pay taxes on the difference. So when I first said that I wanted to trade in my car, they told me that they would offer it for they would offer me $140,000. I was like, that's way too low. That's a $20,000 loss, in a sense, a gap, right? And if this is the part, this is why I did it. So look, there's this I'm gonna have to pay $25,000 in taxes and about almost $300,000. So what I could do is, if I trade in the car, I asked them for, again, $160. They came back with a counter offer of $150. So just to keep it simple. So they're gonna give me $150,000, which in my area, $150,000, not having to pay taxes in that, is $12,000 that I'm saving. $12,600 that I'm saving off of the $25,000. My option is to sell my Mclaren, to try to sell it, not knowing how long it's going to be or if it's even going to be possible to sell it for that specific price point and take no loss, and the time, the opportunity cost to sell it for $160. Or my other option is to trade it in, cut losses at 10K loss, to put it very simple, right? And because I'm trading it in, the difference in price, if I'm not mistaken, in this is $149,000. So the cool thing about that is that now I only have to pay taxes on $149,000 instead of the $299,000, meaning that I don't have to pay that. Now I only have to pay taxes on the difference, right, which is $149K, and that equates to about the $12,600 around that. So again, out the door with both examples. Again, to put into example, on this one, I would have broken even, right? And then paid $299,000 and then $25,000. So altogether, with this, just with this, again, I would have had to dedicate time to try to find a buyer for $160,000, and I would have had to pay $299,000, right, plus $25,116, $324,000. You know, this is my total here. If I tried to break even, you know, if I really wanted to dedicate the time and try to find a buyer aggressively, not knowing how long it would take, I would sell it, break even, and then this would be my total price that I would pay for the 720, right? Or sell it for $150, trade it in, pay $149,000 out of pocket, and then pay this, right? So on this one, it's the 150 plus the 149, the difference, right? So it's just 299 plus 12,600. So out of pocket, this is 3,100. Difference, you know, of the 324,116, $12,512 profit. So the way that I could view this is I could either say I saved $12,000 in taxes, or due to opportunity costs, you know, I traded in my car, I cut my losses, but I was able to leverage to $12,600 to not have to pay that out of pocket, and ultimately save about $12,000. So again, I just wanted to break down and explain to you exactly the numbers that I ran in making the decision and trading it in. Obviously, I could have gone another route and, you know, sold my 570S private party for $160,000 and then purchased my Mclaren 720S private party. And in Arizona, you don't have to pay taxes on private party sales. Ultimately, that would have been the ideal scenario, but there was not any in my area 720Ss for sale that were private party, and on top of that, I would have struggled, or at least had to dedicate a lot more time to sell the Mclaren 570S to someone here locally and stuff like that. So this, with just the time factor, made it a lot easier for me. It made sense due to the numbers, and altogether, I feel like, again, if I can use a $12,600 and put that back towards that, or the $150,000 that I made, I mean, in reference, it's like I pretty much sold it for, you know, $162,600, which means a $2,600 profit directly right from it. But that's pretty much it. So yeah, guys, thank you guys again so much. I know that this is kind of like a boring video, but I think it's very important for a lot of people that are interested in learning more about how to invest in cars, to kind of break down the deal, make sure that the numbers make sense, make sure that it's the best case scenario for you. Again, something that might be right for me doesn't mean that it's going to be right for you, and that's why you need to dedicate time, break down the numbers, and make sure that you're getting the best deal possible, and that you at least are dedicating time to do that. So thank you guys again so much for your time. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. If you guys want to stay connected and find the best deals within your area, be sure to click that first link in the description, and we would love to be a part of your success. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.